Very makwaba. Boko de. Okay, the Yankopon say yeshia. Nia etia ne say du fia da say ya. Nkoma hodo a ye di na wotwi mu nyina no ye toa so ekaika ye ho adwene ehwe niam hodo a ye betumi ayaboa magana so etumi afa ne ntuma pa de efra kansa ma memfa wo enhwase bibi kakra bi ye initial comment na fe yankweni
mechia ahwefo ne etifo nso nyina say anopai de ebe hwe nem say program a efa when say we no crab no kan was na praying clash no ne ho
ye be di san komo no ye be di nkomo akodo a ye di na otwi mu nyina say play ho asemi de ye ka say ye de to na nyame ya adom na esi o mu wi a nsem akodo ho no na ye de aba nti ye be di san komo no
ntem say ye fa no to ho no mehwe na machia etwefo ne tifo nyina na em say na otwi mu akoso efa em say papa bi ye so call rage na hospital ho asem ne ade no eno nsem say efe na mpesa me ka ho asem kakra o hwe ekwan a ofa so ekodi anyambra nsem wo ho na up to now say nya no nche no say IGP so wonya nipa ba mi ensam yenu bi ache wo mo kenpen na kasa na wodi enim no dem say nya no enche no ya de e besre police ne yen papa IGP na wa hwe nem say ensem a efa saa ba mu ano yetimi ahwe na ba bi o hye bia no yele na bigina mra ne mra ne nadi no ma okoya ne nyina no ma entwa kwa no ma tantan tem say na otwi no ma course ba kwa am say me comment wo ho a enhye da enye ayi kra eno no
okay ya da say kan say ya da say berma bibi kakra na fe yenko eni
oh me ne lawyer ebe ya adwen say normal ye mpanyfo ne ye na kwa say ye mfamra enye adwuma I say o mota wachi a ye bu o man ne mra so the bread we say Ghana na yeti say we amayoni anaso ye kanifo a o man ne mra e na odetete o mama na wodi mra no so mai hu ni say wodi mra so na nye say ase ye bu ye ni gu mra so na ye de epe sa na say Ghana na ye kwa akoye say minim wo ofuma me bo ho ban na de on ye no mom no e na ye koto ye ahye no so
okay ma me no ase cancel afi yenko ani nia brebi ye twa me kan say yemfanto ye plane no ho asem no because na yen kra wo nyame adaroma last week Friday ye kra wo afi na yetumi ahia ye betumi edi sankomo no niam ahodo a akoso plane to afi accident na nkasa nhwehwemu a ye bekoso de nti omo de mu no ko South Africa ne sa niam no nipa bebre wo ho nkomo a obo peso omo edi ma yemfa no hyase
them say o hwe se ne ensem nyina si koye idi kan ye ma usuafo ne yakọ akamfo de se we kafra sam ya to ni pasa se o hwe na no mo commensurate na mo yakọ na mo kafra eti abusua no ye mo kafra ene yakọ ye nua no ma NDC fo nso a especially His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana na mamu de ne nipa no ye adwuma enem se sa tuenteme etu wonti eno so de be ma no kafra na yakọ na ye de no to ho na ye ba plane to ho nsem no an say plane to yi na nka nado danko akufo-addo na ban breast no no ye wan wen se nka wo hwe na wa pe plane bi ato de akoma asrafo no motimi de aye adwuma asrafo mpemfo na na de ho nsem ba say o place aye wo ho no bi aye dada ebi ho nso no ma no atototo chima no ne ade ebi nso no ye hia bi nso a fresh fleeter ebetimi de abeka ho na aboa na nado da kwa no ye won adwen se o ka utrabu na wahwe no akwa kopebi di aba beboa asrafo yi yemia okuja to abra kwa be ka ho nsem pi rabehye ade no kra Ghana sabre ye komodi ye nya aduane ni taxi buye ko mu ni ade a hospital a magu a former e na wo chema wo nya ba bi na nkota house bi koto plane na ye rabehye ade no kra enso no ma say no e ade a security issues because ya plane no ho atochema ana ye ofofo se ye hwe na ye nya na ye de dijubadi sum bi ne amfa anye na ye tra ho de yes a e de hunyi ne beba NPP4 ne na danko akufo-addo no kan ya ye ntie ni twetie mu an nyina ne se hwe ne enrachi ekokosi
na ono no he was looking at costs say ohwa there you will be over that president kofo na etoye ade na se eno si ho na mampani etukwan a na wako charter bi then President Akufo-Addo ukuja to nsema na wo kan na eno no patch le say ye will be nti say itimi siesie no na ye de ye adwuma mfa no kura do anka siesie wo kire say wa hoden e wo say mampani itimi e de ye adwuma nti was looking at cost over o man so afi na ye chiche da ni ska de na wona nya adwen
me ne nya adwen ye say plane bi wo ho asrafo na na omo ye experts na nkasa no a plane omo na omo tu da bia de fa wiem a na omo kase plane no eni ahoden no ono ne ye nua okuje to a onye expert na o sabi ka fra oni ade ne ho nim die bia fa ne twie ne tuo ne sane etie ne ho no omienu no hwan ne enyini ni asrafo no ankasa free ensuo na se abeka che se place na ahoden nim na ensam bebre wo ho ne no mo bebre no matoto chima na okuje to so da bi ntisa ahoden ono nya expert ne kasa hwan ne enyini ni o dia ze etine propaganda ade no ne sunsanso no nyina no ne adanse na aba no plane no ekokohwe efoma e de ensem we nyina aba e na kire ense de na soja fo na omo ye express ne kan no no kure e na kire omo de na na no omo kire problem wo no ma no ho enti ye mpefo from omo in any case wo hwe planes are other countries use wa ba ko ana mi pe
okay
omo be brain no a omo de dijuma so ahoro ye soja si air force yi na wiem ami enam from omo ewo see so eso bodwuma so omo nyina hia planes omo betimi de adwuma so in any case bi onu say ye to plane no crowd the more say won fa nya adwuma plane no ye president no ko ba bia no na omo ko yusu ebi ni say ye nua no mo president ma order omo ko akọ yusu e de asemi bai enu an nyina yusu nti ministers ne president ne hwanom nyina yusu we kai say wo mu kra na ye football national teams omo ko national assignment say bibi any go start for qualify omo ko yi omo person prefer plane edeko na omo ko ahohere so ne ntem so a omo timi ko high military plane no na omo de ko because as antikoto no kotoko no ko ba bi o timi ko G plane sa na omo twetwa ho kana omo de ko enti plane na ye koto na be sumo man no na ye kase oman ni niska enti no mo bi mu a ye nya na ne say me nana na kan ya fi agonsia o say ye di kan ye di hia asane ye fata na uhwe nipa nkwa ene ye nisika de wo ye ne beba eno de na befa ye ka asam na de ne ye nipa ho nkwa ho asem national security ho asem enya mi nisika asem wo nisika kra ukobo bosia de be ye ne hia enti si ye ko bo bosia se de bi ye ko bo bosia no be chedi wa hanom ne ade ye ko bo bosia ne ye de be top play ena ka ye nuanom nwatwi a omo de aroho abeto o man so di bia beto o na yire no o ma no na busua so yi a ana ka yeji won kwa ndi nka nye eze ya wawu koyi kwan ben so ne betimi enye sika betimi asade won kwa na babak anko ye ko bobo sia so ne ye de beto ade no a na ye si ye niska anka nye ko betimi akonye kan kakra atimi asolve problem na fro enti sa propagandist approach na ya ye de ye politics bibia ya na ye de politics e problem na emwa o man yi ho adanse ne ye si ye no emwa o man yi say ye criticism ye criticism say ye positive constructive criticisms nenye say no man no ye pese ye ba mu nti ye pese ye wini poverty ye be kansem bi ma be ye no ma bi ni mu a emwa na be ma oye na say mu atimi atoe ya de ya ro sempa nya de a say nka ye makwan e ma no etimi esi omo ka oma no tum na ka etimi ko to plane si ba na plane mu ni si wa enke ba ko fa dada
omo e kan say ye nto no when omo ya adwen
me no ya adwen ono bo Canada Japan the incoming president 7 January 2029 na papa no tie akunwa no so papa no ababontia ba be kan pain say ono kwana na ye parliamentary committee no on sa plane no ono kwana na ye chairman
defense and interior
ono na ye chairman na msa kwantuo ne no ma bia na okoni dwumaso bia na okakodi nti no ode na chija ye nua agaga ana na ye ranking member odi ja na omo ye ho hihye nyina ye de ade ne kokoto omanim no omo ntinshi kresi ye nua no mandisi fo na ankasa mu asu weda say ye nto ana ema ye nto no e no man kwa nkoto ade we bae nti ade ne ye hia ade nso no an ye de ye adwuma da bia air force ye no an omo yusu ye ko ba bia no an ye yusu ti say ye hia de a na de ntini ye beka say ye me ye nkoto nti we omo mfa ehu omo de hu akwa akwa mene kasai e na say na ade na atwoku omo emi omo say hwe embassy president tu kwan ko Japan hwe ba bi okon nwan ye akofo trotro plane trotro na okofo ye ye de ko si Ethiopia they na kwa kosi hefa they na kosi Bangladesh they answer na yede na fe okotwa be 4-5 hours answer na yede na kwa kosi
be an hours 22 hours
22 hours almost 1 day was spending 1 day minam sa na sa weather bad weather any ade ade na bi kosi na no susan ko fa asem e de bre ya na ke kan say enti ade no ehia sa wo ya na wa ye enti many honorable Agyapong ya adwen say the incoming president ya adwen say play no omo ye sa tia MPP for say mo nkoto na de oye ne ya ba ya oye ne ho hiro chirwa hyo ne how ade abre enti ye nkan chew say mo nkoto fro omo nkoto fro famra meboa nipa na oman no ntimi nya ne ntoma pamfamfamfra ma omo nya ne say omo de ye MPP ntini ye nso ye be obi ye de be sa ye kan say ehia ye de ne hia ehia say omo de bre armed forces no security forces ni na adwuma so omo de di nyina de so mo no etime ye nti omo nkonko pe bi fa na
meboa we can say be san ba so region 7 na see na be a few questions na meti wadwo ma minti oberma
okay the metima can say some say democracy is the government of the people by the people for the people redu say Ghana for yema ye ni eda ho no na in politics no your propaganda politics and ethical politics so sure yeah, politicians be at the propaganda achieve a normal emomo said they are not lawyer kind social honorable Ablakwa Okudjetwa just omani luku say NPP phone akufo-addo de omusu nipa bone for de yenya bida ema abi bia yesi president so eduma bi krampo yesi president play na odwonso ma eba begu ni petriso president play ma play mu na odware insane bebre meanwhile no accident yi ba wie na fenesa sesa president akufo-addo so face the same problem oh the same area na boapa ye bi no mo ya na te say the lawyer can expert say yanko ye say no obi aba ono no nye expert na no den no si radio no si TV na oka tutugu Ghana for asum enti de yehwe ne yenya Ghana for no de ye pe no na se yenya enipa na wu obi anso da say sa de nye de ensi na so report gu ho say asa play no kra nya ne first time esi be 3 times ama by force landing enti play no fourth one is see here amope force landing enu munya force landing na
asase bia man ho
mutwa omo saa we ebesi here enti ese Ghana for ye di ye esuade se ye ntie saa amanyamfo we saa na de bia no ye ba betutu mfuru ko bi ani ne agye ade afri nipa ni sem ye be wie no na na ntesa se de nipa nkwa se de lawyer card se sika hin ye betua ye de ba kwa koje saa enkwa na aba se no what is the way forward omo ntimi mfa ma se ye kwa koto play because omo say e 2030 lawyer mfa date na ahye ho 2030 until 2030 no me koto play nzeze ye ne den yo 2025 yen 5 years bim emma president fufu na say official bim anya den enwu ya na but e ya sense be ma Ghana fo a ye gidie na yenya akufo-addo ho tan yenya MPP fo ho tan na eko wie ye no akufo-addo nyankopon na ebu na be ma ene akufo ayi okudjeto mu na omonam te say do ka se ye fa aeroplane trotro because so see so ko fa commercial uko haya obe resign obeye say nipa nkwa ne yeka ho asem no aeroplane wo wiem unya problem a ente se car
o si afri mu
ente se car
akopɛ mechanic
aeroplane u dwane akohefa an aeroplane problem says sometimes it cannot even land na utimi kwa na wayira na mobile say we free reader mu omu hu bebi owo ente yemfa yemma nipa ho nkwa ehia ye ewo ya manyo semo na Ghana fo se obi foforo be ye propaganda bi ma Ghana fo nsorentia enti na make say democracy is the government of the people na bribia na be ma politicians are exploiting and dia sa na be akwakosi enti nka ne pepe mu no se NDC fo ye ethical leadership ko ba be patrol no ka se Akufo-Addo ubunie mpemfo sa na mpemfo ya ade me no ya ade na me se mfamfa wo se mfa you know say me writer usu buonie na che say utima paatwo kwampa so na akoto but say na twetwomo bo ndi ebisa say soja phone tu kan ya omo so ba kwa rent plane and omo de na be ko because say hu atomo yen kan There's fear there. You can't say.
Still a plane.
That was a different plane. And your mom dear no call you. That was a different plane. Or make a man get a plane. So a bird will say, your father will say, a siadia. Na Ghana no yemma twitwananti try didi to ni paso and my time will be a baby na entesa. This is where I say ye nyina ye de ho akwako biemu sisi aya ye wo ha ye hu de yenye ho wo hwe te say hospital de ya course ya
me ba sa asem cancer ye maintenance culture se wa hwe US or more Air Force One plane no it's about 40 years but ye the HS president for time the is around 30 years plus in and yeah, your maintenance culture and I was in reference to presidential jet. So we because of no say fit for purpose. And they cry because say or France or more airship. Yeah, maintenance culture and a creative problem am I.
Maintenance culture they say what him say no at epidemic levels to pandemic levels. At epidemic to pandemic. Yare sa yare no suban pa e wo Ghana ni mu pa obetim dia associate na obi abo so e Ghana ni ana say on pa de siesie okwa abusua mu asa abusua fie 100 years ni empenti da okọ nipa no adwuma a woye mu be 20 years on penti hoda chese suban we yin suban di Ghana fo mu pa the
urban crime ha painting asema okay even areas cry prime areas and go for see adan fefe dan
so yeah dan no ankasa na ntua wo sori an opa wie twam be ko no chance kura atu no na makotam blog ayi atwa mountains people ni be ayi bo pa na dan chance ni so o kwama carpenter ni o wachire o dem prego ba ko abebo adi ni mama na gina no tuesika na da bi 20 years da bi na bo dan chance so nzio to na o choma na ere sa yempe sa de yenye ni yempe o adwuma mu institution mu na wo ye wa so wa de we essay do essay ye twem obi afiri ba bi ansa na ba ba ye nti maintenance culture na de yare kese pa as Ghanaians ena ebo ye form kese pa ministries and institutions are saying, you know, Kokoshe, toilet door, essay, 10 years. Cars be brave, yes, a bon ocean yard. Look on a tie now,
yeah.
Can't a tie you. You didn't fetch your map, organizer be a pumping, this one, a discacoton fro. And he says, Suba women did a maintenance coach anymore, and I'm so I'm not playing singing at Atimiako Basam. A boy, which be shamono, not in free. Senior officers now because the attorney say your procurement rules and regulations, procurement laws. Say, person or toade as a manager and I say as senior CEO or officer. This say would letter the letter that they call assembly. Now assembly a bro on so assembly no the letter no the abba minister ho. The minister and so by chief of staff they are the chief of staff before they are president and sana sat trickle down sir. No bureaucracy. Emra na de na de besi anyesi. Don't say so just na kasa de recommendations na normal bread aban so ade no plane ni say normal say and why say timi eye. Obe ko no kwasasa sa. Oh, na just say any sika and Timun Chanso, and you be now honorable Agyapong, a hospital. Yeah. Nipe wu, akumet, nipe yare, or one yare, Cassia say, Shana, ye teach you. Honorable Kodru, Kolebu, friends of confounded, yes, a machine, I say.
I say for years.
Machine, I say for years. Machine, I hear Pesica, $100,000, $140,000. Papa, two to more someone ye. Ye, machine, and some machine, and the machine, edging pankwa. So sika mo gym hospital a day no you can't imagine and the other day I was like it me ye ho abro sa
why na is it leadership
pure leadership what dey ma honorable Agyapong nyame Edinburgh 2029 ma papa e metra konwan so now they also ye be ma ya for chief executive for Kolebu na obeba na hui che wheelchair asai. But Osamia, obi yiwadi. Obi yiwadi. Oh, na the courage I say executive ni timinya. Na omutimi sack nkrofo from office for laziness now. Ah, was courage na omunya no. Sa discipline na omunya no. Ene ma o man no etete apansam san. Na nim say ade plane crash e buy. Eye yenuanu mo amrafu yi a. Be thorough investigations. When I say oye dean na wa anya dean ene ma de esi abesie. Be yes investigations ni na wa I say wo ye bibia wa anya bia no. Asemato wadwuma ho aba so enye wadwuma kra se ye yiwadi keke o. Se eye say ye prosecute criminal ya. Ye no be fam na kwan so. Na o man yi ni patimi ye no ma basa bia no afa no wadi. Timi ye no ma basa bia de ya kye ne kra ye de ne kokot kra no. Na danfo ba na wona ya tonje no so man ko fie. Onko didi. Obi kra wa de ono ye sika no ono agi atum se sika bia be $200 million. Wo de ko Ghana sika ma ye just how body ni kra nsi. $200 million. Who the bag is coming out body in one? NC, NC. Say, oh, my money in a can't yes. Eso. Who the buy is $1 in the air? I don't know. Now the buy the trillions. NC, near catch any pants or metria 20%, or metria 40%. To only one year, yes, you can only yes, I check. Yaman coffee free. The young punishing the power, carelessness, no recklessness. And you more mine or no mine. Yes, ye leader, obetimi aba, na what catch any passamasa, adi we are we no. Yesterday. Na say one yesterday no, I should chibu or now the amount. Ye leaders obet my esa, na yet te ho akwasasa say dia nipa bewu, nipa beko na sana yakoye yakonom sana ya betra fisa.
The maintenance culture you hear playing for na say o say hwe maintenance culture na etimi maintaining ya ye wo no fi say plane na ya na wo lifespan o years e wo say di ye nru ho ba bia ya say plane no ya nkoto foforo we say plane ya nkoto foforo o di no pa ho a na wo hwe ne ma e koso krom in terms of your maintenance culture ekoye
your maintenance culture enkoye said na lawyer can I am more of your attitude and a physical structure assertive and yeah, we don't really understand the essence of maintenance. So, it is all share if you are contractor no regulation on say every year be say just so but you kwane to be or yes kwane be 20 years you be an ages 1 year say kwane be 20 years yen unforeseen challenges cars in accident also ade bi ababebo kwane creating another problem on the road yenhwe nti some of these things and lead to a normal year go through it's like I say conscious be I say nipa say again you just don't get it another factor am so here na lawyer I can say problem no what is it be a kolebu and be a certain hospital you hear a certain pump and a certain machine bureaucracy about from over letter come away or not so the letter na come away e be kwa just say or not so now the letter come on take machine who enfili the havoc the machine is causing or not the baby na the letter there's no agency on the person and it means say was here share exercise structures for governance. You are complaining about bureaucracy now, but it's time we change it. And an aeroplane way, but I don't have the evidence. Minyantiyebi said, Omani was calling the president and said they should take aeroplane for maintenance. And yes, I don't know you. And I've listened to Muntaka, Minister Muntaka said, Omani de be Omani fro. Yes, I mean the Minister Muntaka Eka. It why? Because on Mane call experts, a briefing with the detail of the airplane.
Yeah.
So why don't we build Ghana, the voice of experts, LED, the voice of politicians? Because who a politician, you may not be an expert in that area. Nipana na you're training in that area, also survey country. Nipana then a report abase. Adi we say no. What it was a mentias.
Yeah, Hong Kong, whereby experts said okay, experts language, as I said, supersede.
Yes.
Whether we a politician or we a Jumera and answer, But there be or no the not doing country so we have a we want to boom.
Yeah. So the reason why America, Europe advance and say they take expert advice very serious. So Dr. Sima on drive here, it will be illegal for you to drive. Yeah. So Dr. Sima new way it will be illegal for you to do it. So corner mechanic can say boss can you do 5,000 kilometers for bra maintenance. Abrochenu so when this one you'll be punished for it. So in my book, recent book, Independent Struggle, don't finish tax. I'm advocating say, yenye a law to support the expert advice.
Critical,
you be I see a call for expert advice.
In fact, example I organ high time I read by coronavirus by so okay, yeah. Now Dr. Agyapong and LED and Frimpong Boatin and LED. Sabre na esansa you was empty. Politicians not quelle and no more expert advice a dean kind because all politician one him say already be no quality or tea baby expert no. But the bar and near mana cano dia when you know man because this is an expert no lead na politicians ni ti omontini ya achieve that success yeah sub-region mo yeah hana na uwo no e wo for me no ya adwen
so we have to advocate for that since na abrochi bia they want to know the report mechanical e pese hu report mechanical view journalism e pese hu journalism view legal e pese hu lawyer ni view aha no ma politicians na etete yankon so no they are seeking their interests. They are not seeking their national interest. And it is time for young call for that advocacy. Say expert advice change. You say ya. You bet me say military for no. Omu sika. Omu di omu maintenance. Kombe omu bibia. But it is because omu engineers. But the engineer let akufo bureaucracy biya train and sign a sika ba. Sika ma omote ho. But that's what I say. And that has to change in this country. And that is why I agree with lawyers say you will need a transformational leader like Honorable Kencity Media who can cause for a change because this thing has gone on from Kwame Nkrumah's time to today. Yeah. Obiaba is like everybody plays around it, complain and goes. Everybody plays around it. It is time we need a no-nonsense person to say this must cease. And it's something Ghanaians we want, but it's like you not follow to the system, you not follow to the structures now. Now say you soon engineer referee. There's a co-create another one. Now, so I think it is time say Ghana for you now best sorry who say okay. Say na call ya dia ma propaganda politics in yejuma say plain yes ya kontra and more current government no kokko say no more propaganda no more propaganda no say the idea ko wie ne say eji di pankwa e free ne sem tie metima kan
me da say okay can we answer na message
na asama na o kase you should stick to the experts very key in national development
key
now they say the judicial position of experts we know is an opinion. Okay. So be an expert, not Oma advisor. It is not binding.
Okay.
Yes, position na a trickle down about we
and Tina can say any law matter because elsewhere one far you ever punish you. It is a law one and that's a new opinion. A politician and him said advice here branch here man found because one expert Nasa BBC you hold me responsible because you advise me. Nasa new opinion be a bit more mine.
Yes, unless it be a nipano or position no because of their opinion into not any binding into no
politician offer.
So it be a command advice to the president. Now advice na the president no share at the end one we expect our teacher who said there be a deal where the assembly. So true one someone I will advise otherwise here's in the panel advice and soon you're binding to a panel offer
even Council of State advice
advice the Council of State some of us have even advocating say so Council of State we know essentially a man is strong legal back now in the second chamber.
Okay.
So there is second chamber because we share a Juma power yeah Council of State your constitutional provisions no because Council of State will advise the president. Council of State ena omo hwe normal who be a we be a here major decision taken. For example, the dismissal of the Chief Justice, any other superior court way no. As what they away no call to the Council of State for more advice. But some advice ni na still na advisory opinion. Yeah. Which is not binding. And to others are come or sentence won't mean. And there's a share, sir, at the end of the minute, I say, as a timid na legislative on those things. Na a boama no matini edane.
And this one says, Frost Mills calls for a probe into the missing wing of the aircraft pitches. If we are going to buy another plane, who will ensure it comes with the wings intact? If you are not sure, then let's buy an aboboya. Now, aboboya, or as a Vestasar, I know two for you. Hello, Amufa. About the helicopter clash, we are talking as if this is the first time we are faced with such calamity. Question linger. How old was the helicopter? Was it maintenance intact? I believe Ghana's challenge isn't just maintenance culture, but lack of monitoring. Let's prioritize monitoring to prevent such tragedies. Time to rethink our approach. Echo Thomas, Tom Ena Odi way by.
Monitoring no, intertwined with maintenance. Because the intention to maintain now, you will be monitoring. Yeah. In order to be able to identify faults. Monitoring, but the monitoring the buffers, but the subsequent when the results no, repairs no. Okay. But you can't go with the repairs without first monitoring. The antecedent to win. To be maintenance, not just because you have to monitor in order to be able to identify loopholes and other defects. I bet me I'm so I recommend it for the repairs.
Okay. Elsewhere, no can say expert advice and one fine juma idea emra ebechoya hani enyenesa amyati asese is an opinion opa na befa opa umfa we ne bas ye be yemra dia taichira e be free fine is it the executive or be free fine na aba?
Yes, it should come from parliament. Okay. It should come from parliament. The na make us say opinion no enye in all cases. Okay. Even though say in all cases na your opinion there still remains an opinion, but in some instances say evidently clear say advice that the panel banner will prevent a certain end result. Now negligently and I say recklessly who ignore obi betimi asiu ewo ade no ho say the intia ugina so ignore ye no basis no come and justify your basis intia ugina so
na we intent to be
so the emphasis be obi a medical doctor obese operate on a pregnant woman or person wo they be officer we can first one the second one here in CS second one we na okwa no dangerous for the life no because of the time frame or sign him second one into no uhwe na woman opportunities on one konkokchimo a anhwa na what the life no what taking the life no through the process no and you know obakwa koye na another CS obi betimi so no so another doctor so betimi there another way abas me hwe we ya me dey me gidi senka obetimi akotra akwa as a good grounds na the grounds no so supported by medical research and medical interpretations based on the circumstances no and no criminally no you cannot prosecute him.
Okay,
because that is also an opinion on say opinions I think the opinions are like gnosis obi the experts who for economic professors now the an economic situation too obi have about diverse opinions but no will lead to a certain results. It is a one for Professor A results no analysis no now for Professor B analysis now the bad end result but necessarily no cannot be amount to some criminal negligence. I because I need to see a prosecutor this year who said in the process of who advice near the I don't know who intentionally and I say recklessly no who omit certain processes are under normal circumstances no any doctor would have obeyed that and I'm sure a mass are oyin by and send it to me a prescription. There should be some limit or some extent of negligence and I say recklessness in the process of your advice and send a bit to me but generally no opinions are advice are both in politics in other fields of our endeavor, I advise you and I say your opinion and your binding. Supreme Court decisions crowd be crowd on Otimia Kasan said, sir, advice crowd whatever my president crown. Just a general legal council. Your constitutional provision requires a president person appointed Supreme Court judges near the idea as a court to the General Legal Council and waiting for advice as to who should be considered near there. And the Supreme Court, when the GBA sued, Ghana Bar Association sued, say, Bakubi Wana Isenka, Oba Justice Pamay, things like Justice Pamay, some other Justice be President Mama appointed. The GBA sued, say, in their opinion, and they think, say, the opinion of the GBA was not sought. The Supreme Court held say advisory, which is just that it's an opinion. And to know now or before now and you it is not something that is. And the same thing on apply. Advice be any expert be now be at the Bamabiana is just an advisory opinion. A opinion keke.
Okay. 107.1 net 2 TV or Man FM Ash FM Mekai will say Franco Trading Enterprise and I adoma edin komo Ghana de bia meka me say o may afei na ye chichire and then komo e wo say o man no beji atuma kansa na wo ka say say free parliament but say parliament na betumi a rezi no ma ye homra and I say it has to go through the executive sansem ni hia me pa whereby ye be place experts or more advice first there will be BIA mu say be because when hunu ba bia free ba hunu ba bia wo na sua hunu so wo ne wo mu sua hunu mu na ho na obesua enso e free he na wo say free say mampani na hwe say parliament na na tena say na say he na wo say free
say free executive na ho president and ministers na ho na say free because law no your constitutional provision requires such laws no say free oba even though say private members no betimi introduce bills no on say the gay we no law na e dey buy na say tina na ye ka ho asem no say tina bi mo dey gay way no echo Supreme Court for interpretation because the constitution provides say unkoye law now the bill be by parliament na ebenya financial consequences on the resources of the state it should not be allowed just say executive na nkasa na be introduce one one bill because it is assumed say expenditure and state resources no the nim say na we see ahye na the budget near there obetime dey run the state no uko fa bill be the ba na bill no the a certain cost be na state ntimi afford law the law no will not be allowed and I was say executive na nkasa na the law no ba na omo ankasa hye na omo de hye na omo timi budget for the provisions are law no be created no relative to the establishment of offices ne other expenditures be so boye bia no omotime de hon
then na we writer and then after then na a prompt to ma wo hwe sa na we show book no
a lot of things but one of them was the banking crisis
okay
yeah I think say social Europe universities no leading development. And so when you talk about your universities, so your professor, law professors, medical doctors, every profession be it is often say be a decision be a state in could take here a very risky. Now your experts are omni. Now people have political interests as opposed to the expert
the interest of the country.
Yes,
expecting a bit me the
abasa. And the emphasis to say be a who decides that a company should be closed. It should be an expert advice. So what I say, I studied engineering. It's an engineer who decides, car we a bit live 2 years, 1 year. It's not a politician. So what I say, it's not a politician. And they say closely a banker. It shouldn't be a politician. It should be the emphasis banking department of the various investors, you know, they should look at the situation, bring their expert advice to the legislature. So this is what we found. You can now take a decision so that when the government is taking a decision, I know that it is not partisan, it is not political witch hunting. Because I'll show you history. The Ako farms, Apia Minka,
Pino soap,
a lot of
brewery.
Say, baby, you might say, can promises will be in your man. A human baby who are individuals who should be a buying or be protecting, a binding a binding in just political power. be good. But yet me mra. Emma obi ntimi mfa ne political power say me pɛ lawyer chamber bu ha ye be hansa need ya say na juma
because at a point you say a car a war banking sector was about is it 9 million
9 billion yes
but they spend it 22 billion to resolve that problem because they okay but kind of for that time so do anymore no an expert
no he's a politician
okay.
In that premise, he was acting as a politician. And he give it to the entire make expert advice and say there should be a correlation between industry and the university. Okay. And he said, I buy Persebia Uklusi Ghana Commercial Bank and I Ghana Commercial Bank. There should be expert reason. And he expert in the opinion, beba. It will be a case study for students. Said, say entire ton bank we. Because students in a bank in him, what they do to sustain the other banks, and then they do a fast track development. Because if the student knows, say, bank manager, no, board of directors, you no must say no man year. It is for the banking students to learn, so that they don't go and repeat
that next time. Until we learn from the mistakes at SC. And to be a saint now what's our buying a close bank no students in banking sector no, should know it so that next time when somebody take an executive position the person doesn't go and repeat the same thing again. If it is a solution that they are going to provide, they said the lawyer can, there could be diverse opinions in expert advice. It will still be a case study for the students. Everyone say be a banking expert, lawyer say a banking expert. You have a lawyer there, but what do you also do? In oko parliament, you debate here. Wow, young for opinion, you keep it for posterity's sake. So that posterity will judge you say, Abia, you vote here, no, who decision and winning. But posterity will judge you say, you won.
Even Omo FL the law for no cry, Omo Tromo, law in area. Dissenting for the United, but yet you didn't dissent here, and said, okay, now I had the better home with swing at the end who so. But Ubehu say on all decent here, and then depending be crown on the air, Jane says, the interior decent and then whom be here. I think that you're quite himself. So I see politics,
so in future, it becomes a case study for the younger generation. To say, yeah, and then that's why the Europeans are developing faster. Because yeah, no, maybe not, yeah, then I try and error. One moment they know means, when a bank will go here, the next entrepreneur is not going to repeat the same mistake. Yeah. It's going to go the other way into all cost or more at a top speed. By yet the NSC here technically there are bounce in a call from the ground. We don't know. And the university students in that area.
But the said anyone say Omudi Musika. But I know quite as I say some politics be Omudi Musika. Sir,
Sikadianu Bia and Yesiko one county at the end. Or then a statement to call, you know. I just say, won't me account for a certain money. Until Castle won't me account for a certain money. I just say, but then be not technically, no, one managing no may yana, or the no may. Balance. So, and Tiano be a case study for the younger generation to learn because bank now no still your best half for ni pay Juma Makotana bank in Abayam paying for no must I repeat the same mistake because I shall not be say. You know your position. I cannot even say, can you frat and I'll be going to bank? On crab, also very revenge. Also, party for
you or myself, all the politics in the bears, the politics be you or
but when the expert knew, expert in my predator say, company in 3 years, it will not exist. The expert can know. And they say, a banning taking decision. The expert already knows that the company is going to how do they call it? Solvency in 2 or 3 years. Now your team was need develop it. Until your areas are a political decision. And your areas are expert advice should precede the political will. A corner sir, your country never con him. And then at the end of the day, no, people don't have the political will.
But I say cancer, but baby, you say near politics, be politicizing. Do we have a leader be obey to me? I can say, Yan said,
ah, leaders are event me a cano, event me a cassie and yen say, Ghana, apart from Canada, I did hear the track record. the track record. Ubisa me na na wote se hwe krase a obeka kire say Honorable Kennedy Agyapong die. Ade wei untimi nya no na aban mu. Omo in fact politicians na akura anim. Enya de a oba betra say brana betoto papa so ye no matantan ngunguna na nipa nkowu. Ka waso be hye.
Is he going to or idea so be mampani a obeti expert na kan say da bi enya mra say be ya expert kasa e beti dia na wo ho a wo de kasa
or the expert's opinion na be adwuma
adenti
now tie nsem a woka nyina ne starch factories ho nsem a woka how obetime use bank dia normal bebre how obetime use obro dia oil ne normal horo bebre ne ade nyina efiri hi because papa nankasa no onye farmer
nti you say experts no we farmers
the experts no ena otu kwa ko India otimi sha da free ko India ko experts nansa ko sa ko shia one on one
waka
one on one ade we say na ye no a ebetimi amaye o man na dane om say ade we betimi aye no ahoro makoma be 24 a obetimi ya dane no ma ufa cassava also expert ni say ayade a experts no do be ya adwuma the bia okoba gina no expert opinion na or the nam de ema mi kura mi hu se papa na be ne sa ne say wo hwe na nwuma a wo ye we go for expert free one of the I'm say take here na ni still way expert na ordinary adwuma engineer na ordinary adwuma no wo twa na several $100,000s a ona o ye adwuma no wo hwe ne factories a horo ne food factory ne he uses the experts enya de obama wo de wo abeka nsam money ade a enye opinion na betimi aboa de na wo de be ye adwuma ntina wo ko nanim wo ne enterprises nanka one person single-handedly businesses are wo bie ni ade nyina no he uses the expert's opinion because na all kind of story be say opinion afa say electricity we be ho ombe man opinion diverse ones Oshade now said that be the way cano and them say betimi aboa. He took that and part of the results no came up. Do you share the normal or steel factories near the Adina? He relies on the expert's opinion. I mean if he say a sign track record the I don't know the year Juma no kasa personally no or the year the Juma ma the normal nyina akoswa be sinde and no there be the companies in the business akese e Ghana ha ne wiase nyina. And he signed it na the o man sentence enya de obetimi adan na church
ne di nkomo no kono berma me mention Ken Oforiata. He's an expert when it comes to banking in general, so investments and so on and so forth. Now also can say he's a politician. One to me I'm blended two no ana because
on say expert advice not say be a lawyer to take a decision as an expert advice. Engineer doesn't mean when I take a decision is an expert.
Engineering more.
And your engineer will say he took a decision as a politician. You can't expect advisor. There's going to be an expert report for experts to read to make their judgment on that. And he said, this is why we are taking this decision. You have your economic or business theories or they back your decision and your friend expert advice. So what I say, and yet the decision that he took, you took a decision when you're a journalist and to take a decision, it means you looked at No, that's what I'm saying, sir. The decision he took wasn't an expert advice decision. It was a political decision that he took. Because if it's an expert advice, there should be the expert report. For us to read and see which kind of expert theories are guiding with this.
Okay, yeah.
Very good. So when you take like somebody like Honorable Ken is a businessman. And when you look at a businessman, they are not much into politics. He's more of nonsense. Sometimes NPP mistake. No, because NPP for a mistake. NDC for ya, they are no we presume. NPP ya, they are presume because he's a businessman. And if you're a businessman, you work with everybody. You are looking for a target. Until if the person even is your enemy and you can get your goal, the businessman goes to the enemy, and that's how Trump is. He ultimately baby when you be a juma. Until with such a person, expert advice flows because he must get the results. Results no he an pa. And you uncle here say my ideology me believe in this ideology there be. Nti President Kufuor buy no so hwe na Kufuor so business oriented. The Kufuor buy no banking sector no emu pejai. Economy emu pejai. People didn't realize it was because Kufuor was a businessman. Kufuor had a business mindset, business orientation, even though he was a lawyer and he practiced as a businessman. So I could see Kufuor's business traits pushing Ghana's economy forward. And now we have Ken, who is matured or has excelled in that area of business. And we need wealth creation. Maybe another time, if you give me opportunity, we'll be going to why in this moment, Africa, Ghana needs a person like Ken. Because we need to change from the dynamics from Nkrumah, whereby government makes money from tax and loan. Tax, loan, ukoji loan, but no increase tax. Ukoji loan, but no increase tax. The government is always creating money out of taxes and people are suffering. We need a business person who understands money and say that I have 2 cities. I am investing the 2 cities here. I'm going to get 4 cities. I will use the 2 cities invested here. I will get this. It says a return be back. A tiny pan brain so kind of what theaters are check. Solomon and then Solomon I'm King Solomon was wise. King Solomon is great. Solomon we and elders now one is a council of state now. I'm free Solomon Robert Mukachan say. Chalo papa taxes are not what you know. And yes, no, say man, maybe yes, so you bet so many so say Henedia. Yes, so taxes near then. Yes, so and look who enough for. Enough for only stand for younger people who need experience. And look, Oja expert advice. You could see the younger one now. It was politics expert advice. Younger one since I say 2 million about. I don't know. Yeah, they catch yourself papa taxes and robe 2. And no coin or coto, no papa taxes. Israel, we are the taxes, your mind, ye teams are more mine.
But I say, Franco Trading Enterprise for now, I admire no more income and many penny for me no income or call online francotrading.com or money money in our Mr. Konako Pibi at all. Fairwomo 0555 939311 0555 939311. Appliances, the Ghana. So baby a benye bi ato for problem ba ho ade beba no pa ho a bi a ope bi ato bi ni ho 24 hours on sabeka Franco Koswana from 0555 939311. The expert advice system, if instituted, would take away most of the partisan approach to our national development, but we need a resolute leader like Ken to be able to get it done. The NDC is so propagandist inclined, and with their create and loot share syndrome, it will be difficult to get the expert advice system to be established. Oguseku ewadamfa ena ode we by cancer every na so 1 minute na inclusive.
Yeah. Same side ye kanyira no ye enforce ye kama ye kanya na ye kama funya na ye kama dampan. Ye best stress sa normal ye hiama Ghana timi si ekwan e betimi afa so develop ni gina na say ye be hwe na de inuanam delegates no ye be to aba de ama ona abukana Agyapong na waba be lead this agenda because no kwasam pa o pa ne say ni pass si pa ye wo mu Ghana has si obetimi adane o man no ama Ghana accord the expert way ama Ghana accord the industrious way no eye ona abukana Agyapong
me da say berema conclude man
many lawyer ya adwin ye for us. Ye leader or train a bobosia so the baby your money. Ya bobosia Ghana for who say ya bere ye hu hwe free bosiamo. So who pay leader or this transformation baba honorable Kennedy Agyapong. Ti asreye nuamu delegate nyina say omonkai no 31st January 2026 na omunchusu Ken as the flag bearer of the new patriotic
Berma PSC Ochredako. He's a writer and also ye
my books be Ghana's independent struggle the unfinished task.
Unfinished task. Okay. Every time you be a home and come on. Lawyer Kencity Japan so adwani and if fear that ebusuafo ye namu nyina mo ase when him second city dey but tayano Ghana near na adwumani e bia ne oka Ghana first mo amotie or radio from anopa e din komo fa e mantete said ye nei we are sana shifty na modernity eba be can system no ho na efutua na ye won kane no sesa awofo a wanye smart position ho yie no ahwe na obaje onsem ahwe a wadwen be yo se wawo babone na wantimia antiteuba beni bi se onwo akwada bone da wo so ni mabatete akwada bi ni ho aye wo no ya akwada bone but entity a wo de be ma no wi asena sesa enu nti na ma ye politics any leader here no so esesa no enye business as usual said the bia ye no yenkan ne yenhye no so weekend yemfa we no mo entrance na yen reflect na yemfa ho adwen nyame adom on Monday hia ye onkomo for Friday ebebro said the bia me kan na awudie ne ahohome ne awohwe na eshepu day eno na do nam enti nkonkotie baabi nkohwe baabi a edidi atem especially bia oba ho no abie na radio presenter bi te so ne ho fifiri on the atem didie no an ogu so emwa enti mpanifo a me ba ye me da mo ase production team so ye na mo ase bentay ma ye no ase ye na elikema na fe elda kwesininsin ene focus so ase mo amwo MCR master control room eja no ne head wo mo na justice ye na mo ase midin e de ya amofa boache ye tiefo so ye da mo ase pa na yahwefo nyame ya domo a on Monday bi hia akra